Oh gosh, thanks. I'm Paige. I'm an addict, and wonderful job, Andrew. And I know that, like, as they're like, oh, and step 10. I'm like, oh, we didn't know that. And so, it's always learning, always growing, and no, wonderful job. And that's, it's so true what you said. The 11th step has more to it than I ever thought when I got here. The 11th step is talking about prayer, it's talking about meditation, and it's talking about inventory. And those three things, when they're logically interwoven and intertwined, what happens is that creates an unshakable foundation. To misquote the 12 and 12, or lightly borrow from the 12 and 12. And I'm a big book gal. And so what does that tell me? What that tells me is, up until that point, what do I not have? I do not have a foundation. There is no ground. And if I don't have a foundation, there is no ground to my life, to my recovery. I will relapse. And so I've got to hustle. I got to hustle to get that foundation, to get to that 11th step. And Andrew's a beautiful example that it does not take long to get well. It does not take long to recover. It does not take long to have a spiritual awakening, but it does take work. And it takes, unfortunately, which is incredibly rude, consistency, which not my favorite. No, none of us are like, oh, consistency. Oh, who likes consistency? That's not as sexy as, like, let me do a fancy thing once in a while, Like, no, it's the daily hard work that allows me to grow and deepen the experience. And that's what the 11th step is about. It is, we call them the maintenance steps, which, again, I don't know about all of y'all. I don't like maintenance. I don't drive. I know Andrew's in his car, but I can tell you that there's nothing less exciting. Actually, you do get the car detailed. I think it's Tuesday's your day to get your car done. I have a little memory for that sort of thing. Nobody's excited about, like, oh, car wash day, or, oh, I gotta rotate those tires. Oh, I can't wait to get an oil change. And if I view the 11th step through that lens of, I better get a spiritual oil change. It's been 300,000 kilometers spiritually. Like, that sucks. That's not exciting. There's no joy in that. But here's my experience. My experience is with consistency. And for me, it needed to be daily. I think y'all can tell I'm real sick spiritually. I need it to be daily. There's no wiggle room for somebody like me. But that daily consistency is what brought about in my life a joy that I did not think possible, a freedom that I did not think possible, and a relationship with a power that I did not like and I did not believe in when I got here. It was the 11th step. And when I began to take the 11th step with the seriousness that it demands, did my life really begin to change. Now, to talk about that 11th step, it says, sought to improve. Now, that word sought, what are we talking about is seeking. Now, throughout the book Alcoholics Anonymous, which is where the program comes from, it talks again and again and again about how this is a journey, a path, a way of life. That this is how I live my life. It's not a destination, which is kind of rude, because I was kind of hoping for spiritual Cabo, spiritual Ibiza. I know that's maybe a little more. And then some of you are like, I don't know if you can put spiritual and Ibiza together. Ibiza is probably where most of y'all are doing the pre-step one, getting prepped for bottoming out. Cabo, for those in North America, I don't know. But that idea that this is not a destination. This is a journey, that this is a way of life. So there's different levels of seeking. Now, bear with me. Some of y'all are married. And some of y'all know that seeking, and maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's a toddler, maybe that feels emotionally the same thing. I'm not here to judge. But when your spouse or your toddler can't find their socks, and it's like, where's my socks? And you put it right on their bed. There's that level of seeking, which is not a real intensive level of seeking. And then going back to, like, when we were kids, like if you had the Easter Bunny or did Halloween, and you'd like go and you give it, man, you would give it for like 30 whole minutes as seeking, intensive seeking. And then get cold or bored, and then give it up and want to steal your siblings' candy. Okay, that's fine. But then there's this level of seeking that happens at a deeper level. And that's what we're after. this daily seeking to grow, to expand this conscious contact with God. Now, let me talk about this word conscience, because the word conscience, its etymological origins are interesting. And some of you might be like, I can assure you with that sentence, it's not. I can assure you when you're using the phrase etymological origins, it's not interesting, girl. But you see, we got a chapter that is devoted to the second step, and that chapter is we agnostics. And you'll notice it's interesting. It's not to the agnostic, for the agnostic afterward, like we got some titles for some of the other chapters. It is we agnostics. And what that is pointing to is that idea that I might come into the rooms of Cocaine Anonymous and I might have belief. Heck, I might have faith. I might even have a religion. I might even have some spiritual practices. But I have not had what we're talking about in regards to the root agnostic, which is to say an experience. So when we all come, regardless of what I'm bringing to the table, I am experiencing some agnosticism, that without knowing. So what that means, agnostic, its etymological origin is Greek. Ag is without, and gnosis means knowledge. But the knowledge is not a knowledge that's up in here. And in fact, if you have been sponsored or you are sponsoring others, you will be familiar with this sort of knowledge. It's called the, I know. Page. I know. I know. I gotta meditate. I know. I gotta do my evening review. I know. You know that one? And you know how by the way, I'll throw it out there. If you are here today and you're like, I am sick of having to tell my sponsor, I know. You want to know what the solution for that is? It is magical. It's a little thing. You pull it out of your pocket. It's saying, do the thing they've asked you to do. They'll stop bringing it up and I won't have to continue saying, I know, because I'm actually doing it. So they're not bringing it up. So there's that level of knowledge. There's the head level of knowledge, which is where I can rattle off facts and information. But when we talk about things that are Gnostic, they're not talking about the head knowledge. They're not talking about, I know. They're not talking about memorizing facts, telling you where Ibiza is on a map, or Cabo. It's not about that. It is that heart level experiential knowing. That is what we're talking about. And when I come to the rooms of Cocaine Anonymous, I have not had that. Or at least I've not had that at the depth that allows me to stay sober and free. And so how do I get that? How do I go from that? How do I go from that without knowing? See, in the 11th step, it says conscious contact. Now, in the word, again, etymological origins, because oh boy, I'm real fun. It's like, who invited Paige? It was a series of circumstances that led me here. And I apologize profusely for them. But the etymological origins of the word conscious is Latin. So it's a completely different language base. Con means with. And shus, which is shus or sire, means knowing. So I go from, in step 2, this without knowing, this without an experience, to that with knowing experience of this power. That heart level knowing. That's what we're here to do. And the gentleman who gave us knowledge of what our solution is in Cocaine Anonymous, his name was Dr. Carl Jung. And he told a gentleman by the name of Roland Hazard what the solution is. And the solution that we have in Cocaine Anonymous is a spiritual awakening, a spiritual experience. That is our solution. And there was a famous BBC interview where he was being interviewed. And they asked him, growing up, did you believe in God? And he said, yeah, growing up, I believed in God. And they asked, do you believe in God now? And Dr. Carl Jung says, no. And there's a slight pause. And he says, I've got no need for belief. And then there's another pause. And what he says is, I know. And that's what we're after here. It doesn't seem like that's what I'm after. I'm just what I think I'm after is not just burning my life down with alcohol and crack cocaine. And some of us were here and I'm like, listen, 5 minutes, was that? Yeah, I got you. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. I have a timer. I wasn't looking at it though, so I appreciate it. It's like, high fives. Is that what you're after? No. And some of us would come here, listen, we're looking for Mr. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or Mr. Right Now, also known in my case, Mr. Right out of jail. And I think that's what I need. But what I'm actually after is everything that I found in the bottle and everything that I found in a pipe. You see, I have an illness that demands treatment, and it's going to be treated in one of three ways for somebody like me. I'm going to continue to relapse. That's one way in which it's going to be treated. I'm going to kill myself. That's another way in which my illness will be treated. Or I'm going to find this spiritual awakening, this knowing of this power. So how do I get there? Well, the good news is that is the sole purpose of the 12 steps. The sole purpose of the 12 steps is to put me in a position where I receive this spiritual awakening. Steps 4 through 9, they are the engine, the vehicle of Cocaine Anonymous. And what they do is they take me from the hopelessness of step 1 to the hope and to the awakening that is on offer in 10, 11, and 12. And see what happens in step 10 is I continue. So in 4 through 9, I'm clearing away the stuff that is blocking me from this power. The stuff that's blocking me from this power are my resentments, my fears, my guilt, my shame, my remorse, my selfishness, my self-centeredness, my pain. That is blocking me from this power. And what I am doing is I am taking brick by brick, and not even brick by brick, we're hitting a sledgehammer to that thing. And we're knocking down that wall. So I begin to experience that power. But because, like Andrew said, I am a human being, life will continue to happen and bricks will continue to pop up. I will get resentful. I will be afraid. There will be these moments of self. And what I do is in the moment in step 10, I clear them away. And if I miss any of them, the 11th step gives me the grace to clear it away in my evening review. The same columns that I picked up in 4, I get to utilize in step 10, and I get to utilize in step 11. And it allows me to live clear and free in the present moment. But deeper than that, I get to have a relationship with power. You see, this whole thing isn't about what I think or what I believe or what I think I know or I know. It is about what I experience. And that's what I'm after. And the 11th step allows me to deepen that experience. And I don't know about you. When I got my first hoot of crack, man, I needed more. When I took a drink and I got that experience that I needed more. And it's a little like that with God. Yeah, I got a taste of something. I got a taste of something here. And for me, I'm not going to stop. I get to go after it and I get to build a relationship with this power. Now it talks about on page 85, much has already been said about receiving. So this is the purpose to receive these things. Strength. It is not my strength. Inspiration, to be inspired, to be filled with this power. Inspirare would be I believe it would be Latin origins of that word. To be inspired. And direction from him who is all knowledge and power. I came without power. I came without knowing. I came with almost nothing but guilt and shame and pain. And I get to experience the flow of that power into me. And then what happens? And I see I got 1 minute left. See, I'm using the timer. 1 minute on the timer. I got you. What happens is I get to build that relationship. I get to know this power more. And I get to experience more and more. And here's the secret. There's no glass ceiling on this thing. I can't bottom out with God. I get to know more. But you see, the more that I experience, more than that, do I get freedom from, man, I'll tell you this. For my entire life, I was convinced of one thing my entire life. If it got bad enough, I didn't need to be here anymore. And that was a voice that I never thought would ever leave me. And it was only, and I don't know what your journey will be, but it was only when I took prayer and meditation and inventory with the daily seriousness that my illness demands, that thought left me. There is so much more here then just don't pick up. Just don't drink. Don't take that first one. There is freedom beyond anything I could have imagined. Now, if you have not had this experience yet, please let us help you. Our very life depends on it. Thank you for the opportunity to share.